I've never fed 700 people. At that time, I was still like turning, maybe I was 20 at that point.
People burden me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously and I don't really care what you...
All right, guys, welcome to the Money Matters podcast. I'm here with my buddy, Chef Hassan. He has a crazy business. It's amazing. It makes a lot of money. So Hassan, tell us about your business. What do you do?
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? My name is Chef Hassan. I own a food service business. We incorporate catering, private dining, corporate events, and special events around the GTA, outside of the GTA, and just around North America in general when we have the opportunity.
All right, cool.
Hassan, I have a question for you that we ask every guest. Mm-hmm. That question is, do you believe that money matters?
Money runs the world, so money definitely does matter. Without money, what are we, it got created one day somewhere, and now it's a cycle of life, you know what I mean?
Very well spoken. So let's get right into the things. So how old are you?
I'm 26 right now, I'm turning 27 in a couple months,
How old were you when you started your business?
I started my business, I was probably around 18, turning 19.
How do you think about starting this kind of business?
Well, it's interesting. Like I was working in private restaurants, a private Jewish restaurant where they had like a massive catering downstairs. They had a banquet hall upstairs where they did all their venues, and then they had a fully functioning restaurant downtown, and it was just members only. So the menus were crazy. Like the chefs were renowned chefs all around the world. Very skilled chefs. So kind of learn from them, and you get thrown into that kind of space, you know like if you got it or you don't got it, And based on my energy and based on the way I do stuff, I knew like, you know what, I can do this and I can do this better than what I'm being paid for. So like now it's for me to really not just learn what I'm doing, because again, when someone gives you a task and you get it done, that's cool. That's what a worker is. But if you can do the other things around the actual task, that's what makes the business itself.
You gotta have your own mind.
Since you worked at all these different restaurants, did you have like connections from when you wanted to start your business? Did you use those connections that you had?
Somewhat, yes. Like I had conversation with people, as young, turning 18, 19, I knew like, you know what, connections is very big. So I kind of innately I did it.
One thing I noticed too, working in the industry, is you never know who's going to sit at the table. It's the type of job that, it's one thing I say to everyone that works in the restaurant industry, especially for waiters, like, doesn't matter who the person is, treat them with respect, because it may not be who they are, but it's also like who they know. Because my family also has a restaurant, and I'll be honest, like we've gotten a lot of perks just off people that we know. And the way we cared for them and dealt with them and did business with them. Exactly. So it goes a long way.
Exactly. And like you said, the biggest question you asked me to start the podcast, does money matter? But connections matter more than money, because once you have the connection, the revenue comes in.
It's about who you know in life.
It's very important,
all about who you know.
Meeting a lot of people, because you never know who you're going to meet, right? You can meet someone the next day, they could help you. They could be a multimillionaire. You never know.
We connected from just, talking to each other and networking. And then we're here today,
That's how I met everybody here, actually, through talking to people, parties, events, networking. And that's how it is. That's how you keep growing your network of people.
So one thing I have a question is, how did you find dealing with your competition? Like, what were some strategies? Did you think were there times where you were like, shoot, like, I don't know, like, man, like, did you ever feel like that there was actually like competition for you?
Well, the thing about it is in business, I'm learning, and I'm always a learner in the game that we play. You know what I mean? In this business game. So no matter how far I go, no matter like how the journey is, I'm always open to learning, open to hearing other, like looking at people from their perspective, how they do stuff, and just kind of taking it in, Like I have my own process. I watch others, but to motivate myself. I watch others to see, what can I do better? What am I missing? Oh man, you know what they're doing, I've actually surpassed that. Let me get to, like, I just kind of put myself in spaces where I can see role models. If it's digitally, if it's like having physical chefs, if it's physical networking and connecting with people that physically have done it before, it's just like creating that network opportunity. So then nobody's a competition. You're just kind of creating an empire that's going to, hopefully when you create it enough, it's going to surpass anyone that's around you. Or even if it doesn't surpass, you're gonna have your own niche of your own. When you're creating your own, you want to find what makes you different from everybody. Everyone can be doing the same thing, but what are you doing that is bringing value to what you're creating?
So instead of viewing other catering companies as competition, instead you try and learn from them and
learn from them, right?
Yeah.
When you're starting something new, a client asks you about a bunch of stuff. Can you do this? Can you do that? If you have the guts and you have the skill set, and you're gonna say yes because you want to build a clientele, that's where the pressure comes. When you say yes to something, and now it's your job to have the skill set or get people around you to have the skill set that can curate and help you answer the question that the client asks you.
Yeah.
Can you help us? Oh, do you do catering? Oh, yes, we do. You might not have done catering before. Maybe you were doing a little small meal prep for your friends, and you say, yes, we do. Right away, you find out different ways and aspects of like what makes a catering looks good. What, what recipes, how do I perfect this? You take on the battle, you know what I mean? And that's how you learn. From that battle, you learn for the next one. And now you promote that as something that you do right away. And before you know it, 3 years gone by, 4 years gone by, and you're doing an array of things. You're like, oh, so somebody else will ask you, like, again, how did you do this? And it's not a simple answer because it's not a simple A to Z.
Yeah.
So you think it's important that you have to learn from other people, right? That way you're going to know that you're making your business, right, better and better every day, with every day that passes by.
Learning is a word, but also another word you can put it into study. Everything is a study. It's a game, right? Mm-hmm. In order to understand in order to play in the game, you got to understand what you got to understand the players on the field. It's like anything. If you don't understand the players in the field, you're just going into a game blind. You're gonna get blindsided. Boom, gone. Before you even get to set your feet into the game itself, right? Just understanding the players in the field and understanding, okay, if this is what it is, how do I get there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about finding ways to achieve your goals, and it's also, in my opinion, I always like to see what someone else is doing, and like you said, how can I add on to it or give it my own spin, because it's a good way of eliminating competition, because you're catering to other needs that business isn't catering to, basically. But the catering business, it's very good because it's like people are always going to need to eat.
Right.
Exactly.
It's very sustainable. So
people are gonna need to eat all the time, no matter when anyone that's ever starting, you gotta realize there's a couple of things that we always need as human beings. Food is number one. Food is one of them. Food is number one of them. So now when you think about how many different ways do people consume food, or is food presented in different spaces? How many ways is food consumed, or how is it presented in multiple spaces? Someone can cook, right? Cool. Mm-hmm. But how do you get that food? When people do private events, corporate events, the event changes, the way the item looks changes, but the actual product does not change. It is still food.
Yeah.
Right? So when someone can comprehend that, to understand that food is food, but now is how can you conform it? How do you change it? How do you flip it up to enter certain rooms? You understand?
Yeah.
It's like putting on a different outfit.
How do you create it? How do you, from catering, okay, cool, big platters, make it look, people. Present it, put in chafing dishes, whatever, from the labeling to whatever to the thin, to corporate events. Okay, now it's canopies. Okay, small finger foods. How do you present that small finger food? What kind of people or staff do you have to represent that brand that you're creating, that professional brand, like weddings? How do you import that? Corporate events, private events. How do you formulate different things to make it essential for that space that you're getting yourself into?
So you more are trying to innovate the way that you're making the food and bringing it out.
The goal is to be able to get the food to as much people as possible.
Yeah.
As many people as possible. Because guess what? If you stick with one niche, sometimes there's companies that stick to one niche and it's worked. But when you're starting and you're growing and the goal is for you to hit a market, now it's how do I put this food into different places as fast as possible? When it's winter, Okay, cool. Your summer events die down, but what happens in winter? Corporate events always go. Offices don't close. So you got to tap into the corporate people. They have events. They have all year events. So now how do you tap into those guys? How do you tap into universities? Because they're going to universities go on consistently. Your grandmother went to university. Your mom went to university. Your father went to university. It's a consistent space,
So
right?
you're switching it up every now and then. You're trying
Not
to
just switching it. You're
build as much
opening in a bag
clientele.
and you're throwing as many clientels as you can for different ways. So then it never becomes a slow period. You eliminate the word slow season.
So how do you deal with that if you have like a I don't know, like a setting where it's more difficult to bring the food in or to make the food? It must be difficult to. It's like improvision every single time.
Improvise, and that becomes that's the difference between a chef, a cook, and a businessman. Big difference. The product matters.
Yeah.
Our products and all the different foods in which we bring it, we put our best to it. We provide the best ingredients for our staff, the best ingredients for our clients. The way we put it together, everything is packaged nicely. The product has to matter, because no matter the business, if the product is not what people want, food is something that's, it's critiqued around the world. Yes. The product has to matter. You can have a great business, but if the product is not good, it will not sustain, right? So back to your question, like how do you constantly switch up different stuff when you go to spaces where you don't have anything? Mm-hmm. That's where the business mentality comes from.
Yeah.
I go to a space, let's say they want to have a 200 people event. Oh, but chef, we don't have a kitchen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What? I'm not gonna say no now because I can't take the money.
Yeah.
Now it's for me to utilize the space that I do have. Okay, you know what? Because of this, we're gonna need to rent this, and that. The price is gonna go up because of this rental, and that's the business talk. Mm-hmm. Being able to create and let the people know what the situation is, and putting it together to make the product happen, right?
Make them comfortable with spending the money.
And it's not even to create, because at the end of the day, you can, if someone gives you a vision and they don't have budget for it, honestly, sometimes I would say no to it, because I will let you know what you're saying right now does not make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta adjust always.
When you're building a brand, you have to protect your brand. Mm-hmm. Again, brand protection is a big thing. Big thing. When it comes to food, when it comes to business, any kind of business. So sometimes clients will come with you and they will tell you a bunch of randomness that you just, what are you talking about?
I know. I
right?
get that all the time.
What are you talking about? But from you being polite and whatever, you let them know in a better way. Like, listen, this is what we have on the table right now. This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. If you would like this, we need this. You understand? And that's me communicating like that. That's not cooking.
Yeah.
Right? That's the networking, the business aspect of it, and growing it. That is what business is. Everything is a business. Make it your business to understand. You understand?
Yeah.
Everything is a business. Make it your business to understand. So you don't have to ever
That's a good catchphrase.
You don't have to ever.
Everything is a business. It's your business to understand.
Make it your business to understand.
It's gonna be our first shirt.
Make it your business. Everything's a business. Make it your business to understand. Biggest thing, right? Because
everything is a business.
Yeah, the world.
The room
is
we're sitting in right now is a business.
Yeah.
Right?
One thing there's a person I talk to when I need business advice, and I look up to him and I value his word. And one thing he told me too is as he got older, any room he went into, he looked at something and he's like, how can I make this better? Mm-hmm. And then now what does he do now? So he manages other companies' businesses, right? So that's his business. He manages companies. So he'll go in a restaurant. He'll find 100 things that's wrong with it, but it's like, don't worry, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna fix it up my way. Bam. Mm-hmm. The revenue's up. It's a whole revamp, and that's how he's making his money. Everywhere you go, there's always opportunity to make money. You just have to
that's the mindset that you need to have.
Open your eyes, because it's there. It's in front of you.
And what he just did again, he's a creator. He created an opportunity for himself, and he presented it to people. Human beings, not everyone can create the opportunity. Not everyone can develop a portfolio or whatever that you can send to someone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So based off what Marcus said, Would you say that catering was something you were already passionate about when you started the company, or were you just looking for something to get into and you know, like start something?
You know, I started it with just a simple of idea of like meal prepping for athletes when I was at York University. Something simple, you know?
Yeah.
Just before practice, before class, I was on a varsity athlete, I was on a scholarship. Before a ball, before like, I used the fact that business, you need the people. I already had the people because of being on the basketball team, and I knew I can provide food for these guys more than they were making or whatever they were getting from the cafeteria or whatever, for a little cheaper price, but better product, more tastier, more flavorful,
More calories,
more calories. Why wouldn't you do it?
You market it that
It's a
way.
simple thing. So I started from there, and then I got like that, you know, got the population, got the popularity, From there, like, you just started. People, like, when you're building a business, sometimes people, through conversation, people throw ideas at you. Have you ever tried doing this? Have you ever tried? I'm like, no, but let me put in my notes, right? And you just learn from there. And from that, then you started catering. From there, you kind of start watching people that do catering. You see a company that do catering. One day you saw them doing some kind of weird event where they're passing out stuff. What is that? Oh, it's passed out appetizers. Cool. Add that to your thing. I can do that. Why not? Oh, you see that same company now, they're doing a corporate event and it's a dinner. I'm like, oh, whoa, shit, what? It's food. I can present it like this. I can do it. And you know, you just consistently learn. You consistently,
Exactly. You get new ideas.
You grow. The product does not change, right? You add on to the product. But for us, we're trying to be a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
For everything. That's the brand we're building right now. The one-stop shop. And instead of going to 10 different places to just order one thing for your party or your event, hire our team. We will get everything. We will give you a holistic view, a holistic way of solving the problem that you have, which is your event, when it comes to food service. You know what I mean?
Do you remember what your first big order was like? The day of your first big order? The stress, the butterflies in your stomach. Like, break it down for us, because before you're successful, before your business goes up, you have those moments of like, not disbelief, but
you gotta.
It's normal.
Somewhere.
You always wonder. You always have those.
Somewhere. Yeah, you're nervous. You're like, I don't know how to feel. Me too. Like when I started my swim school, the very first day before we opened, I was like, holy shit! Like, you know, what can I expect? You know, or are we gonna perform? You know, up to the client standard? You know, a lot of things, a lot of thoughts go through your head. So how was it like
for us?
It's a good question. Because
what time did you wake up that day?
It's very funny because, like I said, I transferred from York University to UFT. And that time, again, I was 18, 19. I was also starting, like, I was doing my kinesiology degree at the same time, which is like body sciences, whatever. So when I created a gap and I created a blast already at York University, I ended up transferring to UFT for a better scholarship, whatever. I played on the team too. From there, I made connections, made a couple of my friends, and they were doing this big event that they do every single year. It's called, I think they call it like King Games or something like that. They invite all the different universities from all the North America, just Canada, to come to this UFT and play these games called King Games. Funny thing is, there were 700 people in this space. So my friend says, yo, Hassan, I know you've been working your ass off for this business, and I know like it's been building, whatever. You know what? How do you feel like about being able to feed 700 people for 2 days in a row straight?
Damn.
What do you think I said? I said, hell yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've never fed 700 people in the business before. At that time, I was still like maybe I was 20 at that point now, you know, turning 21. I'm like, I've never fed 700 people, tuckless, feed them 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Tuckless, the organization that they were asking for, plus delivery, plus all that stuff, right? It was more than food now. It was a business. Yeah. It was the logistics of it. So it was crazy. But I took on the challenge. Almost broke me. I'll tell you that. It was a lot, because now when you're cooking for 700 people, I had a little small kitchen at that time. I was renting little spots. I needed to rent a massive industrial kitchen. When you're renting an industrial kitchen now, they're asking you for different documents. You know, they're asking you for different, like, insurance, this, that, this and that. And I'm like, bro, I've never thought about this before. You know what I mean? I've never even had to come into like spaces to say like, what do I do? You know, like just taking what I'm saying, I'm like, I've agreed to do this, but what do I do? The money sounded good. Everything, I'm like, okay, boom, boom. I'm like, what do I
figure it out?
What do I do? But I had what I was blessed about, I had a chef. His name is Chef Loso. He was doing the events like catering stuff before when I was in university, when I was working at that restaurant. I met him there. So he was already started his own thing. And then we kind of connected together and kind of, started building different things together. I still work with him to today. So it was a little bit easier because he had more experience on the logistics of like, okay, don't worry. He knew how to like, okay, timing of the food. Don't worry, we need this, we can get this amount of this amount. We can make it happen. My job was now to figure out the logistics. What time do we need to start prepping? Who do we need? How many people? How do we get the food from here to package it to get to the space on time?
Yeah.
All that little logistics, God, in God's grace, we got it done. And we did it again because it was 2 days in a row, right? And, you're dying, but when you go into the space, you smile because nobody can see the pain that you just went through to make it happen. But, you know what I'm saying? Like any sport, you go through battles. You have to go through the battles to go through and get to that winning phase. To win something, you got to go through the battles. Are you willing to go through the storm in a battle so you can get to the winning line? That's the biggest thing because it's not easy. Whatever you want to create, nobody's gonna create it for you. You got to go through those battles, and that was my battle, and like that kind of gave me the confidence. You know what? I learned from that. I learned the mistakes we made. I reflected on what could have done, what I could have done better, how I could have instructed the team to do better, and that built me. Those are all the processes. Those are the building phases, and from there you just learn and you learn and you learn and you take on and you learn, and then all of a sudden 7-8 years has gone by, and you look back and people are asking you.
Yeah.
Like, yo, can you help me create my business? Can you give me advice? I'm like, damn. Because now you're in a position, people are also seeing what you're doing. They see how successful it is, or they see that you're doing something right. Now you are the role model that's giving other people. But that's the part where you're like, I'll tell you what I did or didn't do right. So then you can maybe make less mistakes, before I did it.
Exactly. I think that's the main turning point in your business when other people are looking up to you for advice. That's like the big, point where you really start to grow and you change, because that way, that when that happens, people are actually seeking advice, right, from you, and that's when you have the chance to really build the whole empire.
But even role models have role models. So who's someone that, like, I guess in the cooking industry that you look up to, and that's like your role model? What would you say?
Well, I would say I have a couple. Like in the actual business when I was
working. Or you
working,
don't have to limit, sorry to interrupt you, but you don't have to limit it to cooking. Like someone that you look at, either you're taking business perspective, or their way of life, or just, you better than yourself. Who's that one person that you could say, that's my role model? Well,
like when it comes to the cooking, like my Chef Loso, like when I was still young, when I was doing stuff, like he was there. I learned a little bit from him. I learned a lot from him actually, and we kind of built, we're always on a consistent learning phase with each other. So definitely we're role model. But like, my role models, like I would say, like big in the industry, like Chef Ramsay.
Yeah.
And some of the people that's not in this country, like major chefs in like, Miami, Atlanta, like they do like really big stuff down there. The way they present stuff, the way like they just, put events together. They put that extra. Americans do it differently. I can't tell.
So
Canadians, I don't know. Americans do it different. They put that extra, je ne sais quoi to it. I mean? They put that, that put
you ever
extra.
See those like Texas barbecue videos? Oh my god!
They do that extra finesse on it. Even the event planners down there that connect with chefs, they really do it differently. So just overseeing and looking at them, like they're always a constant role model, kind of watching over how they do, and like just in general, even people like the major companies. There's a couple of major companies in Toronto that I kind of like watch through Instagram, watch through their websites to see what they do. That's good. But on a personal note, like there's my high school coach Bob Mado was one of my mentors, just a life mentor, from the way he lived his life. I had my hustles and my grind, but, he gave me the space to be able to make that grind, make that, like, it gave me room for that, you know. He gave me the wood to put in that fire, in the sense that, like, you know, he gave me the space to allow the dream to flourish, you know what I mean? He gave me the wisdom, he gave me the patience, he gave me his time to, like, have conversations, and those are keys. Like, somebody can say, oh, I did it. You didn't. You gotta look back. When you say I, it's not I. You gotta look at the intangibles, the little people that really allowed you to just take those little humps and steps to get to where you are. Don't forget about those people, because those are the people that, you know, they're. If you're walking that walk, they're behind you in every step of the way. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Moral of what you just said is be humble.
Be humble, like, just, you know.
Yeah. You gotta appreciate the people that been there.
And another thing too is you have to be careful when you do become successful. There's going to be a lot of people that want to, like, you know, the
leechers.
Exactly. And then before you were at that stage, they were probably like, oh, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like,
tell me about it.
Well, you know, the thing is, again, that is a key thing about life. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a life lesson. It's a life skill, because as long as you can focus, although you learn for others, but the factor of the key to reflection of what you do on your own personal self will save you from a lot of things. Again, you got to reflect and take in where you're going and where you came from. Take in the hurdles that you've overcome. Sit in the successes and put on your battle gear for the next, you know, for the next to come.
Yes, sir.
Because those are the like, my life goes so fast, and I'm always trying to do so many different things that I personally don't even take in that I do that, but I know I do it innately every single day. But to sit down here and have a conversation, then having the conversation is causing me to go back through my process. And through that is where the conversation and words are coming out, to, like, thinking back to what I had to do to get to where I'm going, and what I'm currently doing now to get to that next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You plan and you think about different things, but it goes so fast that, like, sometimes you don't look back to, like, you know, it's hard. Sometimes you don't look back to celebrate. You don't look back to, you know, you don't assure yourself on certain things. You just kind of, there's people, you have ambitions and goals that, like, it's beyond you. So that ambition and goals makes you run. It makes you, like, you know, that hustle mentality, that grind. Yeah. And sometimes it can be a lot on people mentally. So checking your mental, reflecting, and just being aware of your space too is the biggest. Around those who are, those people around you are very, very big. Limit those that want to see you, like, you know, limit those that don't have the same, like, you know, positive personality, positive, like, you know, intentions for you and for what you want to do. Like, you know, business is business, but the thing is, the personalities and the people you have, those matter, because those are your foundations. You know what I mean? That's gonna anchor you to, like, future goals. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's always a learning piece. I can say this right now, but I'm always learning. Tomorrow, next month, next year, I'm willing to learn. I'm ready to learn something new, so I can acquire something. I can flex my knowledge on it. My perspective, I can change my perspective. I can build my perspective. So when you're always building and learning and flexing and understanding your different perspective, you're okay. You know, you have dark days, you have bad days, you have days that's confusing. But as long as you're grounded in your arc and you're grounded in your foundations, those are the things that's going to bring you back to life. You know what I mean?
Would you say that you've met your goal in business, or there's goals that you've met, but there's still goals that you haven't touched, that you're close, or you still aspire?
Oh,
what are your
the goals are even beyond me, man. Sometimes I scare myself based on the goals I have. You know what I mean? It's a scary thought when I close my eyes and I'm thinking to myself, I'm driving on the highway, free lane, or like summertime, I'm just, you know, just driving and just thinking about where I want to be and where I want. Those are your goals. Should scare you. Your goals should scare you. It should keep you up at night sometimes. You know,
100%.
It's just like you want it so bad. Sometimes it's unbearable. You know what I mean? So, but also because you're so goal oriented, it
can help you beat yourself up when you don't reach that goal. Because like
you beat yourself. Yeah.
A wise man once told me, like, don't ever like put an age date on your goal, Because you never know in life, sometimes stuff don't work. Like, for example, I say I want to be a multimillionaire by 30. What if by 30, I'm not a multimillionaire, but, you know, I'm doing well, but, like, I pressured myself so much to put that goal in my head that, like, when you, like, it'll get you from where you could have been almost back to square one, because you're going to be 30 and you're going to be like, shit, like, my life's a fucking disaster.
But at the same time, I think it's good to have that kind of mindset to think,
my mindset, no, by 30, I don't care. It's not a goal. It's put me on death row if I don't. right. No, literally.
Not even. Gail, you heard that one?
Even like,
you heard that?
Put me on death row, bro.
Tell your name to the camera for a second.
Put me on death row.
That's crazy.
It's on video and everything. Yeah, but no, like, I'm serious. I think it's good to beat yourself up about it every day, because if you tell yourself, oh, you know, I've done enough, I don't need to do anymore, then that's when things start to go downhill. Would you agree?
I don't agree with both of you guys. I am in the middle with it.
I think you need some deadlines.
You need some deadlines, and you can't be yourself into, because you gotta listen. The question you ask, go back to the root question: does money matter?
Yes.
Does money matter? If you get to 30 and you mentally you're not even there, does the money matter now? If you get to 30 and physically you can't even spend the money because you have an illness or this, does the money matter then? You know what I'm saying? If you get to 30 and you've hustled, you find yourself in a incarceration or in something because you wanted to go to this goal, and now you're locked up in a 4x4 cell, does money matter then? Right? That is an intangible question you ask. That's where we go into it deeper. Does money matter? Because it's not a simple question. Because it is all like, you know, it's all based on hearsay.
It's each scenario is different. I think, yeah.
Focus on the money, but you can't let money run your life.
Steve Jobs, like, he died. What, Apple was not in its prime, but like Apple was like one of the biggest companies in the world, and he died of cancer, man. There's nothing you could do. All the money in the world, but it is what it is.
I'm a religious person, and I'm like, you know, when you're a business person and things are always going and you're always trying to figure out stuff, like you question on life, like what is the point of all this? What's the point of all this shit? Like, you know, I'm working my ass, I'm busting my ass, I'm doing this, and I feel like I'm just maybe like 2 seconds behind still. You know, you always questioning, but you gotta remember, like, if you put yourself in some faith, you gotta understand, like, it's greater than you. You know, you put it on yourself, but literally somebody up there put you into that room. Somebody out there allowed that door to open for you, and just keep going. But hey, if it works, like, I had to. And me saying this is not a perspective I had before. I had to learn throughout I was going, you know what I mean? Like, I hustled, but sometimes burnout rates are crazy, right? You want to have your goals, but at the same time, again, does money matter? If you get to your goal and now you cannot enjoy it, does money matter if you get to your goal? You've worked 50 years for this goal. By the time you get to 50 and you're about to get to this goal, you drop dead.
Yeah.
Are you taking that money with you to the grave?
No, but you still leave behind a legacy in a way.
Do you want to? And that's a question again. Who are you living your life for? Are you living your life for yourself? Or are you living your life for others?
For your legacy.
For your legacy.
For your legacy.
You leave that. So
I think
what?
Both. For yourself and for.
I mean,
legacy
you can't enjoy money once you're dead.
But if you know that your grandchildren are gonna have, you know, you're well taken care of, for me, that's enough. That satisfies me.
Okay.
That's my idea.
Yeah.
But no, you're definitely right. Like, what's the point of having $100 million and you have 20 days to live? Actually, for me, if you told me right now, you have $100 million and 20 days to live, you know what? It would, I don't know. Because then you have a time.
I know he's about to say some craziness right now.
Listen, that's like, you have a timer, right? And you have all that money. You have 20 days. You could knock off your bucket. You ever see that movie Bucket List? Morgan Freeman and what's his name?
Yo, but I'd rather.
That crazy guy from that movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. But anyways, in the movie, it was these two old guys. One of them was really rich.
I watched that movie.
He was the owner of the hospital. The other one was a regular day, worked his ass off his whole life, and then got cancer. So what do they both do? They both go and they knock off their bucket list. And they both died happy.
Yeah, at the top of my list.
Money isn't everything, but
it helps you, you know. It helps you
it
to
does,
have
of course.
a better life. Because if you were if you were broke, you know, I'm sure you wouldn't be too happy, you know.
But
Versus
people
if you
people
had-
are happy. Like with people don't need money to be happy.
I know, but think about it. Most struggles, most issues that people have are money related.
Of
That is
course,
true.
So it does matter to some point.
I speak from myself.
Yeah.
I just have expensive taste. That's why. That's why I
yeah,
like money.
but someone can like.
Like, there's a
have
lot
not,
of people that just
expensive
they have a
taste.
humble salary and they live like they live the best life.
Again.
Like for example, in Portugal, like I'm Portuguese, and in Portugal, like they don't make a lot of money, but they live way better than we live here.
Yeah,
like
Canada,
they're going out every weekend.
Yeah.
Like it's
The economy.
yeah.
I'm Nigerian, so when I go back home, like I love going back to like where my parents grew up, where I grew up, because I was born there. And like, even though money is an issue, but you see these people
So happy.
They find different ways to just be happy with little things. And you coming from a space like this, yeah, you're grinding, you're making money, and you come into that other space, you can observe it and you can take it and wow. Like you see people like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, their day's done, they're chilling, like they're having laughing
Yeah,
with
they're
their friends.
enjoying life.
And it's just like, don't you have anxiety about what tomorrow is gonna bring?
Yeah.
Like, don't you?
Yeah, no, like,
are you not? You
I
know?
don't
And
understand.
I'm like, yo, I can't comprehend it because I always have anxiety of like, you know, I didn't grow up rich, and I wanna die rich. Shit, you know. So like, there's different things that I have goals and anxiety about it. Like, you know, I've always been my driving tools too. You know, so like, I don't know. Does money matter?
Sure.
1000% it does, but at what expense? Or in different environments and different situations, money matters. Money runs the world. Business is business. Again, everything's business. Make your business to understand, right? But it's like it's the we're talking about a big picture now. Now we got to look about the insides. What is inside of that big picture that we're talking about, and how do you formulate the insides? So when you get that big picture, it actually makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
figure out every single little detail.
Right.
Okay, so I got another question for you. So you've done all these catering orders. Have you ever had one where something goes wrong? I'm sure you have, but like, I don't know, maybe what would be something that goes wrong and how would you deal with it?
You know, it's when things go wrong, especially when you're doing business, in this kind of business, when as a business owner, you also take responsibility for everyone. Somebody else can make the mistake, right?
But it's your business.
But it's your business. So your job,
Not fault,
again,
but yeah.
internally, your job is to make sure that the people don't mess up. Or, you know, humans, we mess up, but it's finding different ways to mitigate the mess up that occurs, right? So learning how to, again, biggest thing was for me is like customer service.
Yeah.
Learning the tone I use with customers, even though they can be up here, I have to try to bring them down here and meet them down here. Because at the end of the day, right now, the customer is the right one right now. Right, it's really hard. The customer service is one of the hardest things
I
to
know
do.
it's
important.
the
Because
customer is
people-
always right.
You got to be professional and keep
No,
it cool.
because people are real dickheads, you know.
No, you know what? I think in the food industry sometimes like they feel like because they're paying that they're entitled to treat you like shit. And I speak for myself. Like sometimes when I was working at the restaurant, like I would just have people just like disrespecting me. And it's not like I didn't need to initiate it. Like I guess they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
They come there and it's like it's my fault that you're having a bad day.
Where we live in Toronto, most people, 99% of them, I'd say, are miserable.
No,
Like
you open
they're-
the door for someone now. Like every day, I go to Tim's daily. I'll open the door for someone. Just walk right through. I'm like, you're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Like, what?
You know what I mean? 99%
It's
of people
society.
are. I know they're fucked. Like even in our business too, we get so many weird clients. Like they're disrespectful as fuck. You know, they waste their time. They, all this ridiculous shit. You know, it's like that in any business. You know,
It's client control.
but it's
man.
how you deal with them because
how you do them. It's how you do them, like you said.
exactly.
It's how you do them.
I mean, at the end of the day, like you're there to make them happy, right? So
Yeah.
you can't do like you
Yeah.
really don't.
But you also
have
got to
as much
understand.
control.
You also got to understand how to deal with them. Like you can't let people walk over you.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to.
Of course.
You have to learn how to walk the walk and talk the talk. In a sense, in this country, English is a very key thing. I went to university to understand how to change you know what I mean by like changing your vernacular, like changing the way you talk, like the code switching, like how do you talk with your boys versus how do you talk with a business person versus
It's a business
how do you
voice.
communicate
And
with
the mannerisms you use.
everything is a mannerism. So like
100%.
when you talk about business, you talk about like the physical business, but there's a lot of different pieces of business that people don't. That's why there's jobs created. That's why there's PR companies. There's people. There's in major companies. There are people that are actually human resources that do X, Y, Z. But when you're a business starting, you're a small business. You're the resource. You're the human resource. You're the PR company. You're the business guy.
everybody.
You're the back end.
everything.
You're the what I
Even the
mean?
janitor sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so you have to just like learn how to mitigate those kind of things and learn how to like put it to work, because sometimes when you're a smaller business or as you're growing or you're in the process of growing, you have to know the different pieces of your business. Really, you have to know your business very well.
Yeah. As an owner, you have to kind of be like a jack of all trades. You need to have skills on top of skills stacked on top of each other. That's the only way you're going to survive. That's the only way.
All right. So to wrap this up, what would you give our viewers? Give them like a message of advice that they should take with them for the rest of their lives from a successful businessman like yourself. Even if you need to take 10 seconds to think about it, What would you want our viewers to bring home with them today?
First thing would be reflect. Reflection can get you out of a lot of trouble. Reflection can bring you into places where like you never imagined. You know, reflect on, there's so much going on around the world, so much, like one day you're good, one day you're bad, one day you're sad, you know, one day you're up, one day you're down, you know, so it's like always constantly reflecting on what's going on around you, within you, and around you at the same time, you know, learning yourself, because it's a long game. We're playing the long game, and you have to be mentally be able to sustain it. You have to be physically be able to sustain it. The long game, you know. Another thing would be connect. Network with people. Networking nowadays will get you farther than sometimes school itself will get you, right? Networking and being able to just communicate with people, networking and making it, you know. And just be yourself, you know, be a personable person, you know, say hi to people. Don't be judgmental. There's this thing called social constructs that is the way we all see people in life and the ideals that we put on ourselves or on people. If you see someone wearing a hoodie, whatever, sometimes you'll see the most famous person or the most richest person just wearing a regular hoodie and thin. Just because that's just what they want to do, and just because you don't know the person or you decide to judge them based on what they're wearing, based on what the environment they're in, and you don't know, you're talking to the wrong person at the wrong time, right? So just always constantly being aware of like what you say, how you say, and how you approach people, what you talk. Life is life, man. There's a lot of things that's gonna go up, and there's a lot of people gonna go down. And connecting and surrounding yourself with key people that you can talk to when shit hits the fan. You know, if it's a girlfriend, if it's your best friends, your boys, your girls that are friends that, you know, you can have conversations with, like real life conversations.
Someone you can count on.
Someone you can count and have conversation with, like let the load off, you know. People, and if you can find mentors too, older people that have gone through multiple situations, and just let them hear what you're saying, because sometimes the biggest problem in your brain can be actually the simplest thing for somebody else to solve. It seems so big in your brain, like I can't solve this. You say it out loud to somebody else, and like, oh well, no, don't worry. You just do this and you do this. You're like, oh shit, I never thought about it like that, right? Yep. So I think those are the pieces. Just always reflecting, connecting with people, and just being a genuine person. You know, that will get you far in this life, in this business. You know,
it's good advice, man.
Very well spoken. We appreciate you coming on here today. I'm sure our viewers are gonna cut. Sorry.
You good.
We're gonna restart.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait. I'm gonna put my hand up. So I appreciate, oh my gosh. Okay. So those are some very nice words that you said, and anyone hearing can agree that reflecting is definitely something that everyone should be doing, not only just in a business perspective. I feel like just in your day-to-day life, it's always good to reflect and just like sometimes take a moment, take a deep breath, analyze, and then get back in the game. I wish we could continue talking, but that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah, for sure. And again, if anybody in the GTA or outside of the GTA want to connect, you can always find us on chefhassanskitchen.com, CHEF. HASSANSKITCHEN.com. Or you can always follow us on Instagram, Chef Hassan TV. So Chef Hassan and then TNV. And yeah, connect, network, talk to me, message us for any kind of events, ideas that you have, and we'll get it done for you, you know?
All his links will be below. Thank you very much, guys. That's episode 2 of the Money Matters podcast. We're done?
Any last words?
That's it, you already
good.
closed
I think that was it, yeah.
That's
All
it.
right.
Good episode.
Good episode, guys.
Take us.
You know what? I think you should redo the end. Yes. It was some blanks.
Okay, so wait, what was the last thing you said, right?
So just start from your closing
Okay.
and redo just the end. Just okay, a little bit closer to the mic. Like that and.
So yeah.
1, 3, 2, 1, clap.
So, oh shoot, wait, I'll clap. 3, 2, 1. So, thank you very much. Our viewers are gonna be very lucky. Fuck, man. Yeah, it just threw me off. Like, sorry, I have to go again.
All good. Let's go.
Those are some well-spoken words from you, and we've all had the pleasure, us three, of being here with you today, talking to you, getting to know more about you. As I myself met you today, and I see a very successful person in front of me, someone that anyone listening should look up to, because this man is very smart, has a lot of things to say. And why don't you go and plug your business before we head out?
Yeah, for sure. You know, like I said, if you ever have an event coming up, if you know somebody that runs a company or you know someone that's doing an event, always connect with us. You can always find us on our website, Instagram. Website, you can go on chefhassanskitchen.com. So ChefHassanskitchen.com. You can always find us. You can always request or inquire a conversation or a consultation with us. And if you're on socials, you can always get us on Instagram and TikTok and Trend using the hashtag at Chef Hassan TV. So ChefHassan TV. And yeah, we'll look forward to hearing about you.
All his links will be down below. We'll see you guys next time.